Ever gazed at the ocean and wondered how massive ships manage to stay afloat? Sure, buoyancy is miraculous, but there's a more intriguing question at play. Who dreamed up these vessels, and why do they look so bizarre? In today's journey through some of the weirdest ships cruising the oceans, we'll dive into designs so unusual they'll make you question reality. Get comfortable, because we're uncovering the stories behind each extraordinary creation. Ready to set sail? The Sea Shadow might be the poster child for covert ops meets cutting-edge tech. Built in the 1980s by Lockheed for the US Navy, this stealth ship was a top-secret experiment designed to test radar-evading features on open water. Picture an angular, futuristic hull that almost looks like it was ripped from a sci-fi movie. That shape was no coincidence. The Sea Shadow used faceted surfaces to deflect radar signals, a technique also seen in stealth aircraft like the F-117 Nighthawk. Adding to its mystique, the Sea Shadow was assembled inside the Hughes mining barge. Yes, a barge originally built to recover a sunken Soviet submarine. Talk about cloak and dagger. The Sea Shadow's primary benefit was its ability to sneak around quietly, reducing its visibility on enemy screens. Its design also helped reduce wake, making it hard to track by conventional means. However, critics labeled it as an expensive vanity project that never fully proved its worth in actual combat. Some conspiracies even suggest the Navy tried to hide cost overruns by burying the ship's real price tag in classified budgets. The Sea Shadow was eventually put up for auction, and believe it or not, was sold for scrap in 2012. Its ultimate demise might seem anticlimactic, but the technology it pioneered informed future naval designs. In the end, the Sea Shadow left a stealthy but lasting imprint on military maritime engineering. Topping our list is a ship named after the first human in space, cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin. Once part of the Soviet space fleet, it serves as a tracking vessel for space missions. Imagine a ship bristling with giant radar domes that make it look like a floating alien observatory. Those domes weren't just for show, they were used to maintain communication and gather data from orbiting spacecraft during the Cold War era. Essentially, cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin was the oceanic equivalent of a mission control center. Its design was downright peculiar, a bulky, almost cargo-like hull, topped with multiple giant spheres housing advanced tracking antennas. The advantage? Mobility. The Soviet Union could position this vessel in strategic ocean areas to fill communication gaps when satellites passed overhead. It contributed to missions that placed cosmonauts in orbit and performed various groundbreaking experiments. However, critics argue that the ship was also involved in military surveillance, eavesdropping on Western communications under the guise of space exploration. Officially, of course, it was all about cosmic research. Sadly, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the vessel's services became less essential. Maintaining such a high-tech floating command center was expensive. Cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin was eventually decommissioned and scrapped in the 1990s, marking the end of an era. Still, its iconic silhouette lives on in old photos and the memories of those who served aboard. If there ever was a testament to how space-age dreams once influenced maritime innovation, this ship is it. With a name like Galaxy of Happiness, you'd expect something lavish, and this trimaran super yacht doesn't disappoint. Futuristic lines, a narrow main hull, and two outriggers define its space-age silhouette. Built with lightweight composite materials, this yacht cuts through waves with remarkable efficiency. While it may not be as large as some other mega yachts, it's certainly among the most striking. Rumor has it the design was partly inspired by stealth naval ships, giving it an edge in stability and seakeeping. Galaxy of Happiness isn't just about looks, it's about serious performance. Its powerful engines can push the trimaran to speeds rivaling those of smaller performance yachts, all while offering luxurious amenities inside. Think marble floors, high-end entertainment systems, and panoramic windows that let you soak in ocean views. Essentially a floating palace with a dash of James Bond flair. Of course, the question on everyone's mind is, who owns it? And that's where secrecy creeps in. Yacht ownership often passes through shell companies, making it difficult to track. There's always speculation about wealthy tech moguls or Middle Eastern royalty, but official confirmations are scarce. Beyond its jaw-dropping design, the Galaxy of Happiness sparks debate about the environmental impact of superyachting. Can a vessel burning substantial diesel truly be called eco-friendly just because it has an innovative hull? Enthusiasts argue that technological advancements like the trimaran structure and optional hybrid propulsion could pave the way for greener yachting. Critics see a luxury toy that few can afford, built primarily for show. Whatever your viewpoint, there's no denying this yacht is one of the weirdest and flashiest players in the maritime game. From American secrecy to Norwegian intrigue, the Mariata is an intelligence-gathering vessel operated by Norway. On the surface, it might appear like any other research ship, but don't let that unassuming exterior fool you. This vessel was built to observe and analyze Russian naval activities in the icy Arctic waters. Think of it as a floating spy station, though the Norwegian government describes it more diplomatically as a research vessel. Its most striking design feature is the large angular superstructure and extended hull, which some say offers improved stability in rough seas, while also housing advanced sensor arrays. The benefit? When you're snooping on your neighbors in freezing conditions, you want all the technology you can pack into your ship. Critics argue its blocky shape signals the direct intention to gather intel, making the Mariata a somewhat open secret in international waters. Yet that design also draws less attention from your average civilian eye. People simply assume it's another complicated research craft. Controversy arises when you consider Norway's delicate relationship with Russia. Operating a vessel that's pretty much a seaborne spy lab can provoke diplomatic tensions. Official sources often play it down, claiming it's merely collecting environmental and oceanic data, but the array of advanced communications gear on board says otherwise. Whatever the official stance, the Mariata's mission remains a chilly hush-hush operation that underscores the strategic importance of Arctic intelligence work. Ever wish you could combine a cargo run with a pleasure cruise? Aranui 5 is the answer. This French-Polynesian hybrid is part freighter, part passenger vessel, and entirely unique. Designed to deliver supplies to the Marquesas Islands, it also offers tourists a chance to hop aboard for a scenic trip through paradise. One moment you're watching loading cranes shift freight containers, the next you're sipping a cocktail on deck while gazing at pristine lagoons. Its design is unusual because it has a dual focus. Cargo holds in the forward section and upscale cabins towards the back. Even the architecture of the superstructure balances functionality with the comforts of a cruise ship, offering everything from onboard dining to air-conditioned suites. That might sound quirky, but it works surprisingly well. Island communities rely on Aranui 5 for essential goods like food, building materials, and vehicles. Meanwhile, travelers get to experience otherwise remote archipelagos in relative luxury. Some critics point out the environmental costs of combining cargo with cruise tourism, noting that the vessel's route could place a strain on delicate marine ecosystems. However, fans argue that Aranui 5 supports island economies, providing stable transport of goods while bringing in tourist dollars. It's a balancing act, one that has turned the ship into a cultural linchpin for remote Polynesian communities. If you've ever fantasized about living the life of a globe-trotting cargo adventurer, Aranui 5 is your weird but wonderful ticket to do just that. When you think of futuristic maritime design, you might picture sleek lines and high-tech materials. Well, the A2V25CB Clementine checks both boxes, and then some. Developed in France, this high-speed catamaran is engineered for minimal energy consumption. Its lightweight carbon fiber hull and aerodynamic shape help it slice through the water like a knife through warm brie. Because of its innovative wing-like structure, Clementine is often described as part plane, part boat, a notion that's not far from the truth. The big selling point here is its ability to reach impressive speeds while using a fraction of the fuel typical vessels of similar size might guzzle. Some prototypes even incorporate solar or hybrid propulsion systems, further reducing emissions. Supporters champion Clementine's potential to revolutionize short sea shipping, water taxis, and eco-friendly tourism. After all, who wouldn't want a fast and green alternative to those diesel-belching ferries? Controversy bubbles up in discussions about cost and durability. Advanced materials and custom engineering don't come cheap. Critics worry that the specialized design might struggle in rough waters, making it more of a niche vessel than a mainstream cargo carrier. Nonetheless, the A2V25CB Clementine remains a fascinating example of green innovation on the high seas. It proves that weird can also mean planet-friendly. even if it's still a prototype that's yet to make waves in the broader shipping industry. If the idea of a floating nuclear power plant gives you pause, you're not alone. Meet Akademik Lomonosov, a Russian vessel that's essentially a mobile nuclear energy station. It's designed to provide electricity to remote Arctic regions where building traditional power grids is next to impossible. Sounds practical enough, right? Yet, the concept raises eyebrows among environmentalists, who nicknamed it a floating Chernobyl long before it ever went operational. The vessel itself looks more like a huge rectangular barge topped with bulky superstructures. Inside, it houses 2 nuclear reactors capable of powering around 100,000 homes. The advantage is its versatility. It can be towed to areas in dire need of electricity or desalination. Proponents say it's a game-changer for off-grid communities, particularly in harsh climates. But critics question the safety protocols of having nuclear reactors bobbing around on icy seas, vulnerable to storms, icebergs, or even potential sabotage. Then there's the question of radioactive waste disposal. Where does it all go? Official statements assure the public that every precaution has been taken, but controversies still swirl. Many remain skeptical that Russia, or any country, can guarantee absolute security of mobile nuclear facilities. Whether you view Akademik Lomonosov as a daring innovation or a ticking time bomb, there's no denying it's one of the most unusual and hotly debated ships to hit the water. You'd be forgiven for thinking Ghost was the code name for a top-secret UFO project. In reality, it's a high-tech stealth boat developed by Juliet Marine Systems, touted as a next-generation platform for the US Navy. Its futuristic design features a pair of submerged torpedo-like pods that lift the hull above the water's surface. This supercavitation approach reduces drag so significantly that the craft can reach blistering speeds, all while running nearly silent. Why the hush-hush approach? Officially, Ghost is designed to guard vital waterways like the Strait of Hormuz, protect cargo ships from pirates, and conduct reconnaissance. Its wave-piercing technology also means it can operate in rough seas while maintaining stability. Critics, however, see it as another pricey Pentagon pet project. Unverified figures toss around development costs that run into the hundreds of millions, igniting debates about whether the Navy truly needs such a specialized vessel. Controversy aside, Ghost is undeniably an engineering marvel. It uses advanced materials to minimize radar and infrared signatures, making it hard to detect. That stealth factor could be a game-changer in coastal operations, ensuring a small crew can monitor high-risk zones with minimal risk of being spotted. But cynics wonder if the boat's real-world application justifies the price tag. For now, Ghost remains a rare sight, operating largely in the shadows as it awaits a long-term naval contract. Whether it becomes a staple of US maritime strategy or a footnote in stealth boat history remains to be seen. Imagine a giant upside-down bathtub with futuristic lines cruising the high seas. That's Motor Yacht A, one of the most talked-about super yachts ever built. Designed by Philippe Starck and owned until recently by Russian billionaire Andrei Melnichenko, A flaunts an almost military exterior wrapped in luxury. It's said to be around 390 feet long, with a knife-like bow and hidden doors that reveal everything from swimming pools to helicopter pads. Inside, the decor is rumored to be as bold as its exterior. We're talking mirrored surfaces, unconventional furniture, and curved walls that make you feel like you've stepped into an avant-garde art installation. Fans hail A as a masterpiece, pushing the boundaries of yacht design and setting new standards for seagoing luxury. Detractors say it looks like a submarine and question whether it's an eyesore or an icon. That might be harsh, but it's definitely divisive. The controversies don't end with lux. Over the years, Motor Yacht A has been scrutinized for ownership issues, particularly in the wake of sanctions against Russian oligarchs. There are rumors it's been relocated or even seized in certain jurisdictions. Official statements can be murky. Billionaires often keep their asset statuses under wraps. Regardless, you can't deny this vessel's place on any list of weird ships. If it's not the unusual silhouette catching your eye, it's the swirl of gossip surrounding who actually gets to lounge on those plush sofas. Jokes aside, these oddball vessels showcase humanity's endless creativity on the high seas. Whether built for stealth, luxury, or nuclear power, each ship reflects our drive to explore, experiment, and sometimes show off. Hope you found this journey as fascinating as we did. If you enjoyed sailing through these extraordinary designs, don't forget to drop a like. And if you want more deep dives into weird and wonderful wonders of the world, be sure to subscribe. Until next time, stay curious and keep cruising through life's mysteries.